Hello everybody and welcome to AOR Season 12 on F1 2016. My name is Justin and today we'll be bringing you the highlights for Round 9 from the Red Bull Ring in Austria, a track that hasn't been featured previously in the AOR highlights. Joining me for today's excitement is going to be none other than the legend himself, Mr. FisiFan.
Thank you, Justin. Yeah, I'm back in the AOR F1 commentary box for the first time in quite a while, obviously. Commentated unfortunately couldn't be with us today, so I hope it's just a one-off because I really do enjoy listening to Matt and Justin commentate in these races, but for now you'll have to bear with me here at Austria, a track which is one of my personal favourite, and I think we'll have a very exciting race here.
Yeah, nice, fast-flowing circuit, and a circuit that is a bit less known in comparison to some of the other circuits. It's a little bit better known than the last round at Baku, but the track was only recently added back onto the F1 calendar, so there could be a bit of a shake-up in both qualifying and in the race. But without any further ado, let's kick things off with the qualifying report.
So here we are for the qualifying comparison for round 9 of the AOR F1 Championship around the Red Bull Ring in Austria, the shortest lap on the calendar in terms of time taken to complete a single lap. We're looking at the third row pairing of Tyrrell Limitless and Ciario as they steam towards turn 1, braking just after the 100 metre board and then ensuring not to run too wide on the exit, as if you get the car over the exit curve you're going to cost yourself traction and then speed all the way up to turn 2. The first sector split will be before that point, though, as both drivers very evenly matched at this early point in the lap. Limitless just slightly ahead at the freeze frame, trying to get on the power as early as possible out of turn 2, but the nature of the circuit means it's very easy to spin up the rear tyres, but by looking at the gear number the drivers are using, you can see how they're trying to combat the rear end stepping out under acceleration. Downhill braking for turn 3 ahead now, so easy to snag a front right brake as you then feed in the power on the exit while still turning and bringing the car back over to the right hand side to open up the first of these very fast left-handers. Limitless struggling just a fraction to get the car into the apex, which will cost him a small amount of time in this lap, but the track really changing characteristics through the second half of the lap as we've gone from heavy braking and slow hairpin turns to fast sweepers to finish off the lap. Both drivers still with barely anything between them, trying to nail the blind apex of the penultimate corner ahead, try not to run too wide on the exit before throwing the car into the heart of the final turn. Again, avoid running too wide over the curb and heading towards the line. It's Limitless in the Haas coming out on top of this comparison by just over 0.03 of a second over Ciario in the Renault. Back to your main commentators now for the full qualifying classifications.
So here we have the full qualifying order for the Austrian Grand Prix, and as per usual it seems this season the Flying Finn is the man on pole, but it is very close with the Red Bulls Streets in second and AOR Cupid in third, those three only separated by 65 thousandths of a second. Then we have RS Falcon in the McLaren and not too far behind either, and as we saw in the comparison, Limitless and Ciario on the third row. The second McLaren of Franglish then follow ahead of the second Renault of Bernard F1 with solid qualifying for him, Mike Marshmallow and AOR Raikkonen rounding up the top 10 on the grid. Lucky Dog and Six Skills will follow on the row number 6, ahead of Stu in the Force India and AOR Reversal in the Sauber. The top 14 in the session separated by less than a second. Towards the lower end of the grid then we find Leabot ahead of Snowadore, and then Ycoms ahead of Tyrrell Martin, who is surprisingly far down on the grid. Jason then follows ahead of Cyril Hamilton, who clearly didn't have a proper time in the session, 18.1 seconds off the pace. And then Andre in 21st without a time on the board, and SSF1 Alonso unfortunately disconnecting from the session. Worth pointing out as well that pretty much every driver chose to qualify on the super soft tyres in the session, clearly choosing tyre wear in the race over qualifying pace on this occasion. So we will see now how that pans out in the race.
Welcome to the grid here in Austria. It is round number 9, and we've got, once again, the Flying Finn on pole position in that Williams, with the two Red Bulls right behind him, less than a tenth off. So it's very close in qualifying. It's going to be very close in the race. We think it is a 43% chance of rain. We had quite a bit of rain at the beginning of the season, Fizzy, but it's tapered off. It's been drier recently.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting with the rain returning to the track here in Xbox League. We did have, of course, rain in the season opener at Australia and, of course, at China as well, when I think the whole race was wet. So these drivers have been in action in the wet earlier in the season. But it's been a while now, so it's nice to see that they're back and hopefully can shake up things a little bit more. As if qualifying hadn't shaken things a little bit already.
Yep, the only thing that really wasn't shaken was the Flying Finn, again posting that time of a 107.396, the only driver to dip into the 107.3s and taking that pole position. And of course, he is our championship leader at the moment, just by 29 points though, so he can't feel too comfortable yet. And of course, again, we're only 8 races into this season 12 so far, so plenty of opportunity for the other drivers to bring it back. Limitless will be starting up a little bit higher up. In fact, many of the drivers, everyone in the top 10, in fact, qualifying on the super soft tires instead of going for the ultra soft tires because of that tire wear glitch that Maddie talked about in Baku, and I believe in another race as well, as RS Falcon having a bit of an issue on his lap, ends up driving through Cupid. But yeah, they're making their way to their grid positions now. It's not a very long run down towards turn 1, Fizzy, but it is a very long run down towards turn 2. Are you expecting either of these Red Bulls to mount an attack?
Yeah, certainly they'll be looking to get a good launch. There won't be much of a challenge really into turn 1. I think everyone will be hopefully trying to just keep it clean into there, but then there's a huge braking zone into turn 2 where there could be some action.
Yeah, they'll be carrying a lot of speed down that very long straight. As you said, hopefully most of the drivers just looking to get through as we have the lights coming on now. We've got 4 lights, we've got 5 lights, engines revving as we're sat on the grid on board with Seiryu as the lights go out and they are away, and it looks like a fairly decent start for Seiryu and Limitless as well, switching on board to Falcon. A good start for both of the Red Bull drivers as well. It looks like everybody in the top 6 is going to keep their position except Seiryu. Contact at the inside of turn 1. I missed who that was with. I think it might have been Limitless. But he goes for a spin, and he's down into last position already. 3 wide down towards turn number 2. Leobot, Martin, and Snowadore. We got some ping pong action.
My God.
Oh, goodness. Oh, wow. And was that Jason? No. Yes,
Jason's
that
out.
was Jason. Yep, Jason is out. Lost a big, but that is a huge incident. Of course, no safety car in AOR, but it does look like the yellow flags have cleared, and somebody in the background there actually caught someone napping, grabbed a position. It looks like Mike Marshmallow up into P8, I saw briefly there after starting from P10. It was a relatively clean start to the race into turn 1, but I think I may have commentator cursed them because it all went wrong into turn 2, Fizzy.
Yeah, and even before the braking zone as well, it was... you said it was 3 wide, and it clearly didn't quite work out. I think it was Martin that ended up going towards the wall on the left, bouncing back off it and hitting Jason, and he obviously lost his wheels. We now got side-by-side action in the last few corners. Leobot just losing out on that one against Cyril Hamilton. Sayari obviously picking up a couple of positions already after dropping to the back of turn 1, as we got Ycoms sliding his way into the pit lane. We've seen, I think it was Falcon doing that a few times at Spain, I remember. Some pit lane sliding. It was Tyrrell Martin going in as well, so Martin had a really poor qualifying, and the race hasn't started any better.
Yeah, worth pointing out, AOR Raikkonen, this is only his 2nd race now in the league, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, we've got a car off there. Somebody went very deep. Who was that?
Franglish.
Franglish, oh man, Franglish losing out big time. He's going to lose a number of positions. He started in P7. He's now outside of the top 10. But AOR Raikkonen and Burnout F1, the only 2 drivers who haven't scored yet, if I'm not mistaken, both of them up into the top 10 at the moment. Stu with a bit of just the back end kicking out ever so slightly at the exit of turn 3. It looks like he's not going to be able to grab a position off of Franglish there. Snowadore nearly running into the back of that Force India up ahead, but able to keep his nose clean. No contact for the 2 of them. Falcon still holding on to that 4th place position. Cupid as well still holding on to that 3rd. So the top 4 is as it was in qualifying. As we come to the end of lap 2, DRS being activated now, but we just went through, oh gosh, very close there between Reversal and Raikkonen through the final corner as they start lap number 3 now. Reversal with an almighty slipstream gets the inside line heading down towards turn 1. Lucky Dog now using the cockpit view. We've seen more and more drivers, it seems, switching into this cockpit view recently, and it looks like HCR Cupid, another cockpit user, is going to go up the inside on his teammate Strees. We get a wonderful view of that on board with Falcon, and I believe Cupid is going to take that position. He's going to have the inside line for this turn 3 as we head down the hill now from the highest point on the circuit, down the hill into turn 3. Again, Cupid with the inside line should be able to grab that position. A bit of contact between Falcon and Strees, but Cupid grabs P2. And the Flying Finn still in the lead. Seiryu trying to grab some positions here. The Flying Finn not really breaking away, though, Fizzy.
No, the top 4 though are breaking away a little bit. Limitless currently running in 5th place and holding up a few cars. And then there's another gap down to 8th place. You can see here where Raikkonen, I think, is lagging just a tiny bit there ahead of Reversal. And Snowadore also following behind in that train. As Stu now losing speed on the exit through there. Oh, and there's contact. Oh no, and Sayori again has been in an incident. Oh my god. The championship challenger, of course, the closest man to Flying Finn in the championship, has had an absolutely horrid start to this Austrian Grand Prix. And surely that's going to be a pit stop for him as well with that wing damage.
Yeah, Stu makes it into the pits, able to slow it down in time for him. As you mentioned, Sayori as well needing a front wing change. AOR Raikkonen is in the pits for a front wing change as well. Falcon getting squeezed. I don't know if that was a bit aggressive from Strees there. But it looks like Burnout F1 is actually... Whoa, he was actually making an overtake on Limitless for P5. Again, Burnout, one of the 2 drivers who hasn't scored yet. He's got the DRS. He's got the inside line for turn 3. Can he get it all slowed down? No, he can, but not as well as Limitless can, and he's going to go around the outside to defend that position. Stu having a bit of a mare coming out of the pit lane exit. That is a difficult pit lane exit, as I'm sure you can attest, Fisi, but go ahead and talk us through the replay of the start.
Yes, so we have a view now of Flying Finn just launching off the line, and as he tends to do when starting on pole position, he gets a nice clean launch, and into turn 1 he goes, hits the apex nicely, and no trouble from the Red Bulls behind. Street's just holding on from Cupid there as well. Now we got the onboard from Sayori, of course, and the troubles that he will be facing into turn 1. Let's have a look then how he and Limitless navigate this corner. So he starts braking quite early actually, but then he sends it up the inside of Limitless relatively late, to be honest. Limitless probably didn't expect that, and unfortunately turned into the apex when Sayori just had his nose up the inside, and that's what that has gone like. Here we can see the view from Limitless, and yeah, never saw any part of Sayori's car from his view, but you could just see right at the last moment his arrow moving up the inside. I'm not sure, Justin, how we'd call that.
Holy cow, Reversal with the absolute dive bomb to grab P11. I'm not sure where he started. It was pretty far outside the top 10. Oh, and it's a jump start for Ycoms. That's a 3-second penalty, I believe. That was not English that came up
that's
there.
the drive-through. That's why we saw him pitting at the end of that one.
Okay, gotcha. And here's that. Yeah, what happened between Martin and Jason. Holy cow, it is tough to watch that, honestly.
Nice, horrible for Jason.
Yeah, I really think that's a racing incident, though, in which Jason came off worse for wear for sure, because obviously he was the one that retired from that.
You could see there that obviously Martin, the reason he suddenly went on the grass was because it looked like that Leobot kind of shoved him off there, but from Leobot's view there was nothing to be seen, as we now saw Leobot. Also, oh my gosh! And I was going to say Leobot lost his front wing into turn 2, but Stu just decides to lose the whole left end plate there, braking way too late. I think I actually saw the first braking board into that corner missing, which might have contributed to it.
Yeah, that was some pretty scary stuff into turn 2. I mean, it seems like turn 2, again, is the really difficult one. Oh, and Sayori, you just got so lucky there, unlucky there that the car didn't ghost. And also, actually, at the same time, he is kind of lucky, too, because that could have easily been an race-ending collision. Incident between TRL Limitless and Sayori, that's the turn 1 incident on lap 1, under investigation for causing a collision. Did Limitless squeeze Sayori there? Certainly, if it was Sayori's fault, I don't think there would have been an investigation into that, since he was the one that came off worse for wear. Falcon does manage to find his braking point into turn 2 and does not run into the back of the car ahead of him. So Falcon doing a good job in 4th position. Yeah, Falcon is not even in the top 10 for points. He's not really a championship contender. Finds himself just outside of the podium positions and sticking to those 2 Red Bulls as well, as it does appear now that the Flying Finn is maybe building a little bit of a gap. Lucky Dog 2000 now coming under attack from 6 skills around the outside at turn 3. In fact, that's going to leave 6 skills wide open to Leobot, who does make a move into turn number 4, and it looks like he is going to grab that position. Leobot now up into the top 10, into the points-paying positions. Stu, who has had a very difficult race, the incident between himself and Franglish will be investigated, I believe, because of Stu's side. I don't think Franglish did anything wrong there, so we will find out for sure. But here we go once again with the Red Bull boys. No, Strees thinking better of it, decides not to go side-by-side with Cupid. But again, I think Falcon doing a fantastic job here today.
Yeah. Falcon, the Frenchman. He has shown great pace on occasion. Oh, and he might go for the overtake on the other Frenchman in the league streets, and they're going to be side by side into turn 2. And Falcon's on the outside just about. Well, he was left more room than last time he tried that, so but still couldn't make the move stick. One who might want to make the move stick though is Leobot, because he's got the inside line. He's going to go down to first gear. That will compromise his exit. Just about manages to leave enough room for Lucky Dog on the outside. Lucky Dog, who is using that cockpit view, but he isn't able to get the traction to challenge him back. And look at the cluster of cars coming into turn 3 here. That is a massive bunch. We got Hamilton now taking advantage of Lucky Dog as well, and he's gone wide and left himself just as wide open as 6 Kills did on the previous lap. So 6 Kills has taken advantage, and Leopold's teammate Andre now trying to go around the outside, but cannot do it. So really close racing here from around 9th downwards.
Yeah, 9th down to 13th, 9th down to 14th, something like that. Stu, again, trying to make up positions after all the incidents. He's going to run a little bit deep, though, but he's got the track position on that Mercedes, so it looks like he's going to come out on top on that one. And again, the battling between these Red Bulls and RS Falcon really does seem to be benefiting the Flying Finn at the moment, as the Turkish driver beginning to break away. Or he cleared up his nationality in the comments one time, but I've already forgotten what it was, and I apologize for that.
Turkish Cypriots or something. It's like Turkish Cypriot.
Gotcha. But yeah, it looks like Falcon with a much better run this time. Strees actually does have the DRS, but Falcon with the DRS and the slipstream able to move up the inside. A bit of contact between the two of them is going to give some wheel spin or oversteer to Strees into turn number 3 there, which is going to give Falcon that 3rd place position. So very nice racing for him so far. I think he may have been squeezed there. I don't think that was an incident or a penalty or anything like that. I'd have to see a replay really, but I think that looked all fair and clean there. CRL Hamilton moving now up into 9th position as Leobot comes under attack from 6 Kills in the manor just behind for that final points-paying position. Here's a replay of what went down between Hamilton and Leobot. Hamilton just with the inside line and those super soft tires, of course, grabs that position, and then they head down into turn number 2 side by side. Leobot tries to hang it around the outside, but it is unfortunately for him unsuccessfully, and then he didn't pick up the DRS. The Mercedes did pick up the DRS, got the inside line as well after going side by side through turn number 3, and then the manor following through not far behind. On board now with Andre, BCF1997 on lap number 9, so we're just about approaching the 25% distance mark, and that is a impressive braking maneuver on Lucky Dog. It does not appear to have held up, though, at the corner exit. He just couldn't carry the speed. He's getting squeezed now very, very, very close to the edge of the circuit by Lucky Dog. And it looks like Lucky Dog is going to outbrake him as well and hold on to P10 for the moment. And we've got some battling going on up ahead as well for P8, I believe it was, on board with the Flying Finn. Again, approaching the 25% distance of the race, and it looks like he is going to come into the pits. He's going to be the first of the leaders to come into the pits, so he wants that undercut, clearly. Yeah,
obviously, everyone in the top 10 starting the race on the super soft tires, and will be pitting around about this time. You can see the Red Bulls are carrying on. As Flying Finn gets a new set of super softs on. Of course, we have that chance of rain looming, and you can see it is quite overcast now. So going for a relatively fast set of tires as we... Oh, look at the cars coming past here. It's going to be a lot of traffic at Burnout again now. Challenging Limitless into turn 2. Last time we tried this, he couldn't quite make a stick. This time he's got his full car ahead on the exit. Can Limitless get the cutback and get him back? We can't quite get an answer to do that just yet, as we got more battling into the same corner with Leobot challenging Hamilton back. They had some great racing earlier on, and it's still going on here. And Leobot just about getting a good enough exit now to get the inside line for turn 3. On the soft tires, worth pointing out as well. So they will be in a better state than what Hamilton's tires will be at the moment. But still, Hamilton managing to hold it around the outside. A really good job from him. And tire is actually quite interesting. With the weather looming, the guys who started the race on the soft tires, which I think will be most, if not all, of the guys starting outside of the top 10, they might not even have to pit before the rain comes, depending on how long it takes to come down.
Yep, Cupid and Falcon both into the pits. Cupid really running it right up to the line there. And this is the view from the Flying Finn. Look at the amount of traffic that he has. It is absolutely incredible. The real question is, though, is he going to come out in front of the Red Bulls? And it does appear that he will. I believe so. He's certainly going to come out. He is ahead of Stries, and yeah, he is going to come out ahead of Cupid as well. Looks like Andre going to be in between the two of them. And in fact, Cupid now coming under attack from his teammate on the soft compound tires. He's opted for the hardest compound. Oh, and there's been a collision between the two Red Bulls. Stries losing his entire front wing, and I think possibly Cupid with a puncture as well. It did not look like his car was handling right. I'm not 100% certain, but I think he might have a puncture. But definitely the two Red Bulls coming to grief there, and that is certainly not what they wanted. That is going to be fantastic for Falcon and all of these guys, particularly the Flying Finn as well. It's going to be very beneficial for him as he's following now behind that battle of Hamilton and Leobot, which is now currently third. And it looks like Stries has retired from the session, unfortunately, so I think he may indeed may have gotten a puncture there. But Burnout F1 currently leading this race. AOR Reversal behind on those prime tires, and it looks like he's going to grab a pretty easy position and take the de facto lead of this race for the moment.
Yeah, Burnout, though, one of two drivers on the grid who hasn't scored a point this season, and he was leading for a lap here at Austria. That just shows how competitive the field is throughout the whole grid, as we got Flying Finn ahead of Leobot there, so he has already gotten through this train. Really efficient work from the Flying Finn, only used a lap or two to get through, as Leobot still really under pressure though. There's 6 skills now coming off the inside, so I believe Hamilton will have pitted at this point, as all of these guys are on the soft tires, yet to pit. So Lucky Dog now trying to challenge 6 skills, and this battle still going on. And I think if I was in this in the situation of these guys, knowing that there is a 43% chance of rain, I would just stay out as long as I possibly can and just pray that the rain will come down before they have to make a pit stop.
Right, we don't know exactly when. I mean, 43% just means that it's likely to rain for 43% of the race, as we get some fantastic spectator camera shots there, as Cupid's still going. I believe he had significant damage to his front wing. Is he going to try and come into the pits? No, actually, he is going to stay out, surprisingly enough. And in fact, was that moisture on the screen that I saw briefly there? Maybe not, but certainly it is looking very dark.
Yeah, I'm not too sure, to be honest. It's slightly hard to tell. It's certainly very dark. Oh my god, that's Lucky Dog nearly lost the back end, and still another cluster of cars coming down into turn 2. I mean, there's too many cars. Oh, Cupid, don't do it. It's all 3 wide. Don't make it 4 wide. Can these guys make it through here without contact? It's going to be very, very hard, but oh, they do. They do.
This is absolutely incredible racing.
Unbelievable stuff, and Cupid still trying to make his way through here. He's up the inside now of Leo, but Ao is going to take 6 skills in the same move, so he's not hanging around, and Leobot's going to be taking advantage of 6 skills getting exposed out slightly wide there. And now Falcon and Cupid have both made their way through, but of course Flying Finn at this point will already be a few seconds down the road.
Yeah, this is absolutely incredible. This is a battle for 4th down to 11th, and 12th isn't that far behind. So yeah, this is an incredible cluster of cars. It does seem breaking apart a little bit now as we come to the end of lap 13. And some of these guys are going to be thinking about that rain that you mentioned that's on the way. Flying Finn now catching up to Burnout F1. Burnout still out on that set of super soft tires that he started the race on. So he's now
crazy.
on 13-lap-old super softs, and the Flying Finn makes quick work of him, and that is definitely precipitation that I'm seeing on the screen now, Fizzy.
Yes, I believe it is, and we have got Stu going into the pits and a couple of other cars as well. So will these guys be testing out the inters? Oh my god! Raikkonen with a incredibly late breaking into the pit lane. We've got Lucky Dog wide now at turn 2. He's going to lose several positions as he's really struggling with grip there on the off-track area. And there was a Torosso struggling there as well. Andre losing out to Limitless, so Limitless getting a couple of positions from that. And yeah, we just see what tires Stu comes out at. I would assume that we can see some raindrops on the screen now as well. So that's surely the intercept. There we go.
Yeah, it looks like Raikkonen and Sayaryu as well up ahead and behind Stu. They're all on the intermediates as well. That's a bit early for the inters. There's not really much precipitation on the circuit. AOR Reversal still going strong on those soft compound tires, though, the prime tires for today's race in Austria. But it looks like Burnout might be coming into the pits. Yep, he is posturing like he is coming into the pits, and he is indeed. HDR Cupid as well is going to follow him into the pit lane as well, presumably for a set of the intermediate compound tires as well. RS Falcon, who went onto the Ultra Softs, I believe was only the only one of the front runners to go on those Ultra Softs. He is going to follow in as well. It looks like inters for Cupid. Wow, I'm seeing... Yeah, there we go. Inters for Falcon as well, getting held as
Even
well.
more.
Very busy in the pit lane. Yeah, I think it may have been better to stay out just purely to avoid getting held in the pits.
Yeah, it might have been the case. Oh my god, Leobus just randomly disappears from ahead of Falcon, and now he's behind him, so that's interesting. As we now have Stu and Raikkonen battling, but only for 17th place, of course. The first of the guys that went in for the inters, and Raikkonen running wide through the penultimate corner. Stu's going to take advantage of that. So, interesting now to see how these inters handle. They switched over very early, from at least when we spotted the rain. So, we just see you can see Flying Finn still out on the track. So is Reversal and Mike Marshmallow, who is now up to 3rd place. But of course, these guys will presumably pit either now.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. He's aiming for the pit lane.
After two sectors, the Flying Finn was 6 seconds down on his personal best. So
Right.
yeah, I would say now is the time to come into the pits. In fact, he may have even left that a little bit too late, because that is a lot of time to lose in just 2 sectors, and he would have lost even more time in Sector 3 as well. Andre BCF1997 is going to head into the pits as well from those soft compound tires, and from 4th position as well. Flying Finn puts on those intermediates, and look at that. 2.14 seconds for that pit stop. Oh my gosh, and something's gone on between Andre and Lucky Dog there.
And Andre's got a drive-through penalty for speeding.
No. Uh-oh. And is that from being hit from behind? I assume it was.
It looked like it.
Yep, so that's unfortunate for him. RS Falcon is going to move back up into P5 after overtaking some cars in the pits. He's got Burnout F1 up ahead, actually. So RS Falcon started from 5th position, now down, or started in 4th position, now down into 5th position. Burnout F1 started in 8th position, now up into 4th. So he is going very strong after that very long first stint on those super soft tires. And it is looking pretty darn wet out there at the moment. I certainly wouldn't be coming in for full wets just yet. Ycoms coming out of the pits on a set of intermediates as well, so I do believe the entire field on those green marked intermediate tires now. TRL Limitless trying to make a move on, I believe that's RS Falcon if I'm not mistaken, getting very, very close under braking for turn number 3, but just doesn't have the traction coming out of the corner to try and pull alongside through the double left-handers of 4 and 5. Especially difficult to try and overtake around the outside of those corners. But some fantastic camera angles from those guys. RS Falcon having to defend from Limitless behind and also try to catch up to Burnout up ahead. And here it comes. Limitless with the inside line heading into the penultimate corner. It's 2 right-handers to finish up the lap. Can Limitless get it done? No, it doesn't look like it. No, RS Falcon is going to hold that outside line and hold on to 5th position.
Yeah, great defensive drive there actually. Exactly the line you need to take when you've got a car challenging you into that penultimate corner. You just need to try and carry as much speed as you possibly can on the outside line. And it looked like in the second part of the previous lap that Falcon was struggling a little bit with his intermediates, but so far he's done well to keep Limitless behind, of course. The man who somehow still hasn't won a championship in this league. But now though, he's at least going to try to make this move stick with the inside line for turn 2. And can he get ahead on the exit, just about leaving Falcon enough room, but he's forced on the curb, and that will cost Falcon because the lack of grip on that curb has meant some overstep for him.
I think that was intentional from Limitless, but in no way against the rules. He's just squeezed him out onto that curb a little bit, as you said, Fizzy, and there's just no grip out there. Couldn't get on the power. Limitless holds on to that position, so very well done from Limitless. That's the kind of experience. That's the kind of move that comes with the experience that Limitless has after so many seasons of racing in AOR. And here's what happened between the 2 Red Bull drivers. Again, Cupid just seeming to pull over on Stree. It's a very strange one there. From there. Let's see it from Cupid's point of view. He's just very, very weird. From Cupid's view, it seems like there's plenty of room.
Yeah.
So that may have been a lag incident potentially.
Yeah, I would say so. To be honest, it definitely didn't look like Cupid was turning to the left to any major extent from his view, but from Street's view, it looked a lot worse as we got more front wing damage. As that was a Hamilton going into the pits.
Yes.
It doesn't really matter at this point, as this is now the replay of the cluster of cars at turn 13. Unbodied Falcon is already gone past 1 car on this straight, and he's going to try to go past a couple more on the outside line into turn 2. And the very late braking, leaving tons of room.
Wow!
And wow, there we go, Falcon.
Wow!
The overtake of the day by far.
Yeah, that is beautiful stuff from RS Falcon. Again, just wanting to point out that he was the only one brave enough to go onto those Ultra Softs for that second stint, and clearly it paid dividends as he did eventually go a little bit wide, though, at the exit of turn 1. Yeah, got to get that back end under control there. That's going to lose him a position to Cupid. But yeah, fantastic stuff from Falcon. So actually, yeah, and there's what happened between Lucky Dog and Andre. So I imagine there's going to be some sort of, and he was in the green there, so that was definitely Lucky Dog that caused that incident for Andre. I'm not sure what's going to be done about that, Fizzy, but certainly I don't think Andre deserved that drive-through penalty. Unfortunately, that's who was that?
That was Stu that got disconnected, unfortunately.
Oh, okay. Yeah, not a great day for the Force India drivers.
Definitely not. And as for the Andre and Lucky Dog thing, it's up to the drivers to report an incident that happened. So whether anything will be done obviously depends on whether Andre feels aggrieved enough to report it to the stewards. But we will have to wait and see on that one, as we now got Flying Finn in second, of course, and Reversal leading just under a second ahead of him. And that is, of course, purely because that Reversal didn't have to do a pit stop before it started raining, because he started the race on the softs, and that's how he suddenly got into the lead.
Yep, great strategy from Reversal. Definitely the right call. There was a little bit of luck involved. There's no way he could have known when the rain was going to come exactly. In fact, it was a bit risky because he could have been stranded out there on 18-lap-old tires, still waiting for that rain. But thankfully, it worked out for him the way it did. I'm not sure when he stopped in relation to the Flying Finn, but certainly the Flying Finn has a at least 1 lap pace advantage over the Sauber driver. Reversal not even making it into the top 10 in qualifying, whereas of course the Flying Finn fastest of everybody. So and Reversal making a bit of a mistake at the final corner, running off the circuit as well. Flying Finn with the slipstream on the run down towards turn number 1. He's going to be too far back to do anything on this occasion as we start lap number 20, well into the second half of this race now. And can he get better traction coming out of turn 1? Not really. It seemed like a pretty good exit out of turn 1 for Reversal, but again, the Flying Finn making the most of that slipstream off of the Sauber up ahead into the braking zone for turn 2, avoids running into the back of him, finds his apex very nicely, and then easy on the throttle. Yeah, short shifting up into third, quickly shifting up into fourth, short shifting into fifth as well. The Flying Finn with fantastic throttle control, just making sure that rear end stays planted. But AOR Reversal, it has to be said, is holding him off fairly well.
He is indeed. So it's got to be said, he got into the lead because of strategy, but once he's there now, he's doing a decent job to try and keep it ahead of the man who has been the class of the field in terms of pace, not only today, but for many of the races this season. He is leading the championship, as we pointed out, and doing really well to control the slider through the high-speed corners as well. Really, really lovely section of the track. It's obviously not going to be too good for overtaking, but as a driver, it's such a thrill to drive through the second half of this circuit. And then, of course, you have the other half of the circuit where you have got quite a few good overtaking opportunities, and those are the ones that Flying Finn now will be hoping to utilize to make the move for the lead again. He probably, after the first 2 laps, wouldn't have expected to have to make a move for the lead, but he's in this situation now, and Reversal not getting it the best exit out of turn 1 this time, Justin, so we might get an overtake done in a few moments there.
Yeah, he was looking very, very close into turn 1, closer than he had been on the previous lap, but it does look like Reversal is just about going to hold him up. It looks like his front downforce is actually on 8, whereas the Flying Finn's was on 7, if I remember correctly. So, interestingly, Reversal running with a little bit more downforce, but seeming to hold off that Williams.
Rain that actually.
Yes, yeah, certainly. But yeah, even on the straights actually. So possibly just that being able to carry that little bit extra speed through the corners is just keeping him safe on those straights as he carries those few extra kph onto the straight, despite the higher downforce on his wings. So again, the Flying Finn in that dirty air, and this is really where you pick up the dirty air, particularly in these wet conditions as well. The Flying Finn is certainly going to be struggling, and that's fairly evident. I mean, we've seen the kind of pace that he has, but he just really cannot get too close behind Reversal, so he's going to have to pressure Reversal into a mistake, and he may have done that exactly right through the final corner. A big wheel spin moment for Reversal. He's going to tuck back into the slipstream of the Flying Finn as they head down towards turn number 1. He's going to find his braking point, get it all slowed down using third gear before turn number 1, getting on the throttle and up into 4th. Let's see if he can pick up enough slipstream here. No, it looks like the Flying Finn might have this one under control, and I think the rain might be slowing down here as well. It certainly appears that way anyway from this helicopter cam that we're getting here, but it's possibly lightening up, so we may see these drivers going back onto the slicks before the end of this race. Here's that replay. Again, just missed his apex, went a little bit wide, stepped on that throttle in 3rd gear while on the curbing. And I wanted to mention earlier, Fizzy, I noticed how confident the Flying Finn is under braking even when he's on the curbing. I believe it was the penultimate corner, turn 7, that I saw him braking while on the curbing, or it might have been the final corner, but he just seems so confident.
Yeah, definitely. And that's probably part of why he is so fast. Been able to control the brakes on the curbs as well, where he got, of course, less grip in the car, and he's now taken the lead of this race. But Reversal, though, even though he has dropped a position now 2 seconds, he's still in a much better position than he started in. Of course, he started all the way down in 14th, so he's worked this race really, really well. And here we go, race control incident between Limitless and CRU. No further action on that one, so I guess the stewards had a look, and determined a racing incident.
Yeah, I think I would agree on that one. Snowadore, interestingly, decided to go out on the wets. I don't think that was the right call, certainly.
Doesn't look like it.
Yeah, the rain seems very light. I mean, he can barely get his way into the pit lane. AOR Raikkonen, who I mentioned earlier being in the top 10, who has yet to score points so far this season, down into 13th, and it looks like he may get down, relegated down into 14th position if Sayaryu has anything to say about it. Man, from the off-board shots, it looked like it was drying out, but now that we're back on board with these drivers, I have to say the conditions are still pretty appalling.
They are, yeah, as you said, it was looking like a nice dry line was appearing almost from the helicopter cam, but eyes are deceiving at times as Raikkonen running. I thought it was going to run wider, but he actually didn't, and he's actually doing really well to hold him from CRU. Great defensive drive, actually. Oh, and he has to control the back end a little bit, and does that as well. So CRU, of course, not quite where he would have wanted, qualified in 6th place, 2nd in the championship, finds himself battling with Raikkonen in only his 2nd race. For 13th position. The other Renault, though, doing really well. Bernard F1 on course for his first points in the league, and he now has Limitless behind him again. The man who he, I believe, if I remember correctly, he passed him earlier in the race, didn't he?
Yep, he sure did. He sure did. And also, Sayaryu does get that position in the end, grabs 13th position. But also, Sayaryu's race engineer coming over the radio during that battle and saying heavy rain in 5 minutes' time. So within the next few laps or so, we could potentially see even heavier rain. So the full wet tires could get some use here. Depending on how quickly that rain gets here, it might be more beneficial to stay out, as it looks like is that Limitless and yep. Burnout. Yep, and it looks like Limitless with not a great exit out of turn 1, but then Burnout getting a little bit wiggly as well, possibly when he was upshifting. I'm not entirely sure, but it looks like Limitless is going to grab that 4th place position. Burnout now down into 5th. RS Falcon not that far behind, but Burnout so much faster through the corner, through turn 2. It seems like he carried so much more speed into the corner and out of the corner as well. As Raikkonen now, oh gosh, gets on the curb. Oh. Yep, and that is the end of the day for the Ferrari, and it looks like Snowadore, everybody's favorite track explorer.
He's exploring again.
Yep, he's exploring once again. Yep, and I think that is going to be the end of the day for Snowy. He has unfortunately just picked the wrong strategy, and he is just going to concede defeat. Now, Burnout F1 is still behind TRL Limitless, still could potentially get that 4th place position back, as we see Slick Skills now losing the back end at that final corner, and Leobot able to grab a free position as a result of that. But Burnout needs to also worry about, I believe that is RS Falcon behind him. It is indeed. RS Falcon not far behind, so he's going to be keen to get that position back off of Limitless, as Limitless goes very deep into turn number 2. This could be his opportunity. Falcon as well could pick up a position off of Limitless here. JD is going to squeeze him a little bit to the right-hand side, but Falcon still with plenty of room. Nice, fair side-by-side battling between these two guys. Falcon with the inside line heading down the hill towards turn number 3, and JD outbrakes him a little bit. Nicely done by Limitless, and he gets on the power a little bit better as well. He's going to hold off Falcon for now, and that has all done wonders for Burnout, who, if he can start putting in some nice lap times here, could solidify that 4th place position.
Yeah, And I noticed as well, actually, while Falcon was being passed there, or failing to get past Limitless, that his tires at the rear were absolutely shot to pieces, like 56%. So, this is the replay.
Yeah, that's the replay.
Of Raikkonen losing the back end and losing his tire as well. But yeah, the Inter's wearing off a little bit, so these guys might be hoping actually for the heavy rain to come quite soon, so that they have a reason, even more than tire wear, to make a pit stop.
Yeah, this is one of those circuits, maybe you can confirm this, but this is one of those circuits where you really try to trade off downforce and straight line speed. And I mean, you need downforce for turns like 4 or 5, and then the final 2 corners as well, as Limitless trying to get by once again on the Renault. Let's see if he can do it. It looks like the Renault's got the measure of him. Can he do anything into the braking zone of turn 2? No, he can't. And of course, no DRS activated now. And man, just less than 7 laps remaining in this race, actually. So this is really starting to fly by now. Again, RS Falcon keeping back and keeping an eye on this battle between Burnout and Limitless. I don't know if he's intentionally just holding back. Yeah, I think he might actually be using lean. He's actually got 2 spare laps of fuel to use, does RS Falcon, so he could be potentially holding off a little bit in order to mount an attack. I believe an entire lap of Rich Mix is about 1.5 laps of fuel, if I'm not mistaken. So that should be enough for Falcon to run in Rich Mix for quite a while, although I don't know if he's going to want Rich Mix in these conditions. Here we go, side by side. Between the Renault and the Haas. Let's see if JD can do it. Yes, it looks like he might. In fact, is Burnout pitting? I think he is. I don't know if that's the right call, Fizzy.
And Falcon follows him in. This is very, very interesting indeed. You can see Falcon's tires, as I mentioned, really short. Yeah, and this time no contact in the rear going into the pit lane. So those two are safe from a drive-through at least. As Leobot is going to get on the curb and not spin. As it sounded like you were slightly scared for him there.
Yes, I was.
That's always the case when you're on the curb in these conditions. And yeah, heavy, wet tires for Burnout and Falcon. So it'll be interesting to see if it's time for this yet. As they come out in the middle of a bunch of cars. That is Ycoms going through up to 8th place after pitting after lap 1. So he's had a really good race after that, actually, to suddenly find himself in the top 10 now. And Andre behind, just outside it. You can see Frankish down in 12th, also having changed in wets.
Yep, so this is very interesting. At the end of this lap, there will only be 5 laps remaining. And yeah, now as time passes, I think going onto the wet tires was a smarter and smarter choice. And I have a feeling, yeah, the Flying Finn has stayed out. So has AOR Reversal. Now, that's very interesting. If I were Reversal, I think I would have gone in for the full wets. HDR Cupid stays out as well. The entire top 4 all staying out on those intermediate tires, and I'm wondering if any of them are going to be regretting that. Although it does seem... Yeah, Andre, with the grip on those worn Inters, is actually going to overtake. No, not quite. He's definitely... I mean, I think it's right at that crossover point, Fizzy.
Yeah, it certainly looks like it. Let's see what these guys do. Oh my god! Martin has spun it from 6th place! And nearly spinning into the pit lane.
And he's still backwards, actually, as well. So he's still losing positions as we talk now. Andre now up into P10. Falcon up into P9. Again, Falcon on those wet tires, though. Andre on these intermediates. And I have to assume, as the rain continues, that things are only getting better and better for Falcon. But look at that. So much traction in the low-speed corner at turn 1. For Andre, BCF1997, he is going to overtake Falcon on the rundown towards turn number 2 and grab that P9. And let's see if the McLaren can do anything. Nope, he's not going to be able to do anything in the braking zone for turn number 2. So it's still really unclear whether or not going onto the wet tires has actually been beneficial. You could see the amount of twitching going on.
I think he's been the wrong call, to be honest. Look at how much Andre's already pulled away from after passing him. I think Falcon and Bernat. Oh my god, who's this? That is... was that Reversal? Nearly hitting the wall again at that corner, and that would not be Limitless. I think that's lucky of getting lapped, actually.
Oh, wow. Okay. Gotcha. Yep, so as you mentioned, Ycoms moving up, actually. It looks like his choice to stay out on the intermediate tires has paid off pretty well. Burnout F1 behind him on those wets, and with a pretty large gap as well, if I'm not mistaken. Flying Finn is actually about to lap the nearest championship contender. That's the kind of race he's having. Not great for Seario, who is again still outside the points after what has been a very difficult day, and much of which I would say has not necessarily been his fault. But it looks like Andre BCF1997 going to actually move up into 8th position, overtaking Burnout F1. RS Falcon on the wet compound tires as well. TRL Martin behind on the intermediates, possibly catching up to this group as well. And again, Andre seeming to have the grip advantage over the 2 full wet users behind him. Ycoms trying to see if he can make up even more positions. 6 skills up ahead in the manner, possibly suffering from a lot of tire wear. HCR Cupid posturing like he might be coming into the pit lane. That is a very slow penultimate corner. He is. He's going to come into the pits at the end of lap 33 in a 36-lap race. I don't know if I agree with this decision, but let's see what it does for him. He comes in P3. He's going to immediately lose a position to TRL Limitless, who goes flying by. Now, I believe that is. No, these are actually lapped cars that are going by on the start-finish straight, so he's still in 3rd position, which may explain, and that must be Limitless, surely. There we go. Yep. So now HCR Cupid drops down into 4th position. He's got 3 laps to try and overtake Limitless, otherwise that was all for nothing. RS Falcon with much better traction. Yep, here we go. I think the full wet tires possibly are starting to get a little bit of a pace advantage here, and Falcon, struggling quite a bit, is going to lose 2 positions, in fact. And here comes TRL Martin now behind
He's
Falcon.
on the Inter still.
Yeah, never mind what I said about the full wets. Martin is out to prove me wrong.
Yeah, he definitely is. And yeah, because Falcon, the car he was passing, was Burnout, of course, who is on the wets. And Burnout now outside the top 10. So maybe he won't get that point after all, unless he can try to mount a challenge. And Falcon, who is now dropping behind Martin on the Inters. I think by now it's quite clear to say that going out of the wets has not been the right call, because these guys were battling for 5th, weren't they? And now they're
4th
battling,
even.
Yeah, and now they're battling to even be in the points. So it might have been a very costly call for them. So we are now having a replay of Reversal. Nearly losing it again. He's had a few close calls, hasn't he? But he's still somehow in 2nd place. And of course the gap to the car behind much bigger after Cupid pitted as well. Which might also be a costly decision, because he also went on the wets and dropped behind Limitless. So Limitless on course for his first podium since round 2.
Wow. And Burnout does get back into the points. He's done it. He's back up ahead of RS Falcon on the penultimate lap. White flag, this time by just 1 full lap remaining. Flying Finn already on that final lap. And let's see, what is the gap between the Flying Finn and AOR Reversal? I think we're not going to find out until Reversal actually crosses the start-finish line. It is nearly 10 seconds, the gap that the Flying Finn has. Wow. And remember, he did 1 extra stop in comparison to Reversal, if I'm not mistaken. So that is an incredible drive. He's got 1 lap of fuel, but it doesn't matter. He's only got 2 sectors remaining in this race, so it looks like it is going to be a comfortable victory from pole for the Flying Finn. So he's going to he's going to finish the way he wanted to finish after grabbing that pole position narrowly. Again, those 2 Red Bulls very close in qualifying, but in the race, unfortunately, taking each other out. Seario getting lapped again. The Flying Finn making his way out of Sector 2 into Sector 3 for the final time in this race, and it looks like he is going to be sat on 174 points after this race, keeping in mind that only 9 races, this is the 9th round, so he's averaging almost 20 points per race is the Flying Finn, and he is going to comfortably cross the line. Understandably very excited about that solid result. The gap now over 10 seconds, but it is Reversal who is going to come home in 2nd position, Limitless in 3rd. Fantastic result for both of those guys. Fisi, I think you know better than anyone that Reversal's actually started getting a little bit of a following in the comments section of these videos.
Yeah, so those guys will certainly be happy with his 2nd place. It's his second place of the season, actually, after the wet conditions also treated him well in China when they finished in the same spot. We saw Limitless taking the final podium position and Cupid in 4th. And now we have Ycoms just beyond 6 kills, but can't get the overtake done for P6. But still a really good recovery for him, considering his early jump start and drive-through on the 1st lap. And Terrell Martin... Oh, what? Oh,
but will Burnout score a point?
Oh, yes! It looks like he, unless he can lose it on the curb, and it doesn't. So Burnout with only 1 point, but it is 1st of the season. So well done to him.
Well done, Banana Car. Well done, Mr. Banana Car. So now just one driver has yet to score so far in this season. That is AOR Raikkonen. So we're all going to be rooting for him, and I'm sure he's got it in him. So it is the Flying Finn again who takes the win by 11.2 seconds. And then a further 14.5 second gap down to TRL Limitless after a 3-second time penalty is applied to him. And then a few seconds back is HDR Cupid in that Red Bull picking up 4th position. Leobot picking up a 5th place. Look at that. 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th all on that one-stop strategy, and 2nd as well. So clearly, I would say that was probably the best strategy to be on. If the Flying Finn had the opportunity to use that strategy, I think he only would have been further up the road. But yeah, very, very close in the end. The top 10 all separated by less than a single minute. 12 cars finishing on the lead lap, 14 cars finishing in total. And yeah, all of those guys that opted for the wets, looks like that was not the best choice. So you know, it's unfortunate for Burnout. Again, he was battling for that 4th place position, but he did end up getting a point despite that maybe poor decision to go onto the full wets. But again, you know, it was right on that limit. If the rain had just been that little bit harder, then they would have been geniuses instead of idiots. So that's just the way it goes. Reversal does move up to 6th on par with Leobot, but because of those 2nd place finishes, he grabs 6th ahead of Leobot. Strees moving down some positions, Ycoms moving up in the world, Jason97 F1 and Mike Marshmallow losing out to Ycoms. So yeah, unfortunately at the top, Fizzy, it does look like things have been extended. What was a 29-point gap is now a 54-point gap.
Ooh, that is ominous from the Flying Finn, of course. It was a perfect result for him, not only with the sense that he had a great race, got the win, but also that his closest championship contender didn't score a single point. So Flying Finn, a day to remember, CRU, a day to forget, and here we got the 2nd part of the Driver Championship. Stu dropping down a bit. We got Andre and 6 kills with their points finishes, moving up a couple of spots. And
actually, Snowy hasn't scored yet either. So sorry, there was actually 3 people yet to score. But yeah, so we've seen Snowy and Raikkonen. I think in today and in other races as well, we've seen that they have the potential to get points. So we just need to maybe see them get a little bit of the rub of the green in the Constructors' Championship. Though Williams still holding on. What was a difficult day for Red Bull, obviously. It means that they're going to be on 131 points after today's finish. Renault now in 3rd with 121, so not far behind Red Bull. Mercedes in 4th with 84, and all of the teams scoring points. Everybody's got at least 20 points, and it is in fact quite close from 4th down to 8th, I would say. Not a big difference there. So that is going to do it from Austria at the Red Bull Ring. Next time out is going to be the British Grand Prix, which is, of course, a favorite of both the fans and the drivers. And I fully expect that X-Matty G will be rejoining for that race. I'm sure he does not want to miss what is his home Grand Prix. So I'm sure he'll be back in the commentary booth with me for the next round. But thank you so much, Fizzy, for joining me for today's commentary. It was great having you.
Yeah, thanks, man. It was fun commentating with you again, and as you said, hopefully Matt will be back so I can take my lovely chill-out position to just listen to you guys ramble on. But yeah, Silverstone should be a fun race, and I'm looking forward to watching it.
Yep, should be good. And again, as was said, Matt should be joining us for that one. So thank you guys so much for watching. As always, feel free to leave comments, like, and subscribe, and we will see you next time for the British Grand Prix.